Put down that decoration.
What are you doing?
What do you think, too much?
No!
Good morning, everyone. Yes,
for you,
welcome to our little hotel on the prairie here. We do come from a disused part of a London hotel, that's a fact, Jack, and probably the modern equivalent of the old showbiz adage that said, if a farmer has a barn and he keeps grain in it, he gets mice. If he leaves it empty, he gets actors. And here we are, every morning. This is the portion of my presentation which is a little more relaxed than when I come back later on to answer all the questions. During that period, did I wear George Washington's wooden teeth? They would catch fire. I have to go as fast as possible to bring you all the info that may help you through the day. Sometimes I stumble. Sometimes I have to leave stuff out. Yesterday, I was trying to tell you the story of mirrors and stories. I had to leave out stuff like the reason that hotel lobbies have mirrors in them by the lift is not so you can check yourself because you may be coming in. It's because people get less bored. They look at themselves while they're waiting for the lift. They don't notice the time. A survey revealed 88% of people, if they're on their own in a lift, make faces at themselves in the mirror. I do. You do, you make faces at yourself. However, yesterday I stumbled and I fell. Terry told me not to mention it, but we had 1,100 emails saying, you said Devizes was in Devon. It's in Wiltshire. Now, at the time, I was talking about raining fire, I was talking about some of those magnificent, the James Dean mirror that he haunts, all of these fantastic things. And people rang in to say, oh, yeah, never mind about all that, you said Devizes. It's in Devon. Well, I'll tell you what, we've looked it up, and Devizes is in Devon, and Devon is in America. How do you like that? Because I say that dishonesty is the second best policy. Good morning, everyone. Jeff in Torquay says, he's got an argument going on with his wife at the moment. He says Monopoly's a British game, and it has always been the Old Kent Road and all of that. Who's telling the truth there? Well, I'll disappoint you later on, Jeff, and it's a good story. Susan in Northampton says, Coca-Cola, that rumour that the Coca part of it was about cocaine. Is that true? The story of Coca-Cola later on? Yes, you seem to know too much, my friend. And Ken in Oxford, a great story about a head. That's all it says on the card. I can't remember what I wrote in the first place. And Diane in Sutton... and Diane in Sutton will be surprising Phil, the cameraman, because we haven't rehearsed what we're going to do with the microwave later on. But let me tell you, on your television sets, they may well explode with excitement. And now, back to my friend. Someone in the audience?
Yeah, from Sandra. It's for you.
Yeah, we've all got one from Sandra.
We've opened our
very much.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
One in the post office.
So 5 for the Oracle, Danny Baker. I'm rising for you now.
No, because last night in the theatre they said I was very rude to you because I don't stand. So
Are you in the theatre?
You're in the theatre?
Good Lord.
I had no idea you're a theatrical.
Oh, my word.
You should have told us.
Questions, lad.
Go on, my friend.
Question. Jeff in Torquay, a likely name, asks, is Monopoly originally an American game?
Or he believed it was English. He and his wife argued because he thought the Old Kent Road and based around London, it must be, you know, some kind of Victorian conceit. Afraid it isn't. The Americans can claim this one. Charles Darrow in 1904, although he leaned heavily on a game that was already in existence called the Landlord's Game. But Darrow was an engineer who was thrown out of work in 1929 in the Great Crash. We all took a bath during that one, Terry, am I right? Oh, so in 1929, Charles Darrow finds himself out of work, and he remembers this game, and he makes it for his family, because he's up around the house all day, and he made it on a piece of lino. He called it Monopoly even then, and he based it around Atlantic City, which was his childhood home and the place he had the loveliest memories of. And other members of his family said, it's good, that, can we borrow it? In the end, he made them other ones. He saw something in it, because he wasn't a slow man. He went along to Parker Brothers, who are the American versions of Waddington, a much bigger company, and they said, it's the most boring game we've ever seen. How on earth do you hope to market this? Well, it's based around finance, and he said, no credit, it's all about cash. He said, we know, go away, here's a flea, put it in your ear, we'll see you later on. He then went, walking back home, he thought he'd try toy shops direct. He went into FAO Schwartz, who were the biggest toy shop still in New York, and they loved it. And they took 10 and sold out within an hour. Before he even got home, the message was there, give us more of those. Suddenly, Parker Brothers get back in touch with him and go, a bit hasty there, we do want to buy it. It becomes the biggest game in the world, which it still remains, the biggest selling game in the world by far. And I think personalities are divided up as to what you choose to be. What do you choose to be? The boat do you choose to be, or the boot, or the top hat?
No, I'm the dog.
The little dog.
Fair enough.
I like to see the little top hat. There can't be. We were talking earlier on about everyone makes faces at the mirror in the lift on the way down. Everyone does that. Surely all of us, at one time or another, have put the little silver top hat on, haven't we? And admired ourselves. Took the little revolver from Cluedo and the little top hat and stood there looking at each other. Just. Honestly,
you've got a very strange life.
I think it's just you. I had the little. Many times to this day, I'll pull on the little top hat in private, little gun. And my mother. My mother, when I was 15, came into the room and said, "What are you doing?" And I just turned around, I had the little top hat and the little gun. It can scar some people. It made me go into show business.
Ring the bell.
OK, ring the bell. That'll be that one.
Susan in Northampton asks, is it true Coca-Cola contains cocaine? And is that how it got its name,
It
Dano?
is how it got its name, and indeed it did at one point, because its name comes from coca leaves and cola nuts, which are the two main ingredients. It used to be green when it first started, just about the turn of the last century. It was green and it was medicinal. It was advised as everything was there, you know, we'll cure this, we'll cure that. So Coca-Cola came from that, and indeed it did have cocaine in it, and did remain so until about 1920. But people were less squeamish. You've got to remember Queen Victoria took a little sniff every now and then.
Sherlock Holmes?
Sherlock Holmes was my next example. Remember, of course, that rightly or wrongly, things like LSD were legal up until the mid-60s. And so, yes, it had cocaine in it. Yes, until 67 it was outlawed.
Seems fake.
Yes, 67. But here's how some other things got their names. For instance, spam. Why is spam called spam? Takes the SP from spice and the AM from ham. So look, all the bums over there, they know that. A new arrival relatively to these shores, the Oreo cookie. The Oreo cookie used to be a little pyramid shaped because Oreo is Greek for hill. How's about that? And here's my favourite. There are plenty of other examples, but I'll move on. Milky Way, when Milky Way was first marketed, it took its idea from another product and it called itself for a while the Fat Emma Bar. Now, for some reason, nobody wanted to buy a chocolate bar called Fat Emma. And so suddenly, when Forrest Mars bought the concession, he said, that Fat Emma, it's lovely, it's delicious, but how about I'm called Mars, we call that Milky Way. And that's how that moved on. And that is the origin of certain species of a sweet product. There you go, you can bell.
Bing!
Come on. Thank you.
Ken in Oxford wants to know why nodding your head means yes and shaking it means no. Good question.
It is an extraordinary question. It's very, very difficult whenever you learn, you know, I do a great deal of research. I mean, 20 minutes before the show every day. You can't talk to me, can you? And they cannot find out why because this is the one that doesn't translate into most cultures, the nodding. They cannot find out why that's yes. For instance, I think the Abyssinians, they raise their eyebrows for yes, and things like this. No, they believe, is because if anyone here who's ever tried to feed a baby, what do? They do that. And that's quite true. They believe it's something within us. The first we learn is that will always mean no, I'm not having it. There's a lot of research to say that's it. But just quickly through a few cultures here, it's actually the Dyaks of Borneo. The Dyaks, as opposed to the Dykes of Borneo. The Dyaks of Borneo, who raise their eyebrows for no, they wink for no, raise their eyebrows for yes. The Turks, that means yes in Turkish, of course.
No.
And tossing your head and clicking is no. That's no. How about that one? Yes, that's a good one. And yes, the Aborigines. This is the Aborigines for no. This is Aboriginal for no. There, how's about that? That is Aboriginal for no, and if you learn nothing else from this spot today, you've learned that.
Very valuable.
Gary's is glowing great.
Oh, you're going to have to go over here. Thank you.
Microwave.
Try this. Thank you very much. There's not a lot to this, but you know, we're trying to reinvent the microwave here on the show. Two great showbiz jokes about the microwave. I won't claim them, although I will get a laugh. There's a fellow who had a microwave put in instead of his open fire, so he could lay in front of the fire all evening in 8 minutes. And if you put instant coffee in a microwave, it goes back in time. That's done that. OK, if you put grapes in a microwave, what happens? You get hot grapes, you get a firework display, my friends. Ordinary grapes split in two, your microwave, prepare to be dazzled.
Oh, blimey.
Oh! Whoa, lady! Ordinary grapes in a microwave. I know, a sensation, isn't it? A little more, perhaps. Whoa. That will keep going, and as I say, for the next 2 hours, it can't hurt your microwave, makes the grapes smell a bit, but now back to my friends on tomorrow. Spectacle.
After the break, we'll be telling you who's won that mobile phone. See you after the break. Go nowhere.
Bye.